weekend, but the Xfinity Series on track. Here at the Brickyard 400 2010, a great year for you that year on the Cup side, but what stands out to you about winning here at the Brickyard?
Well, it was special for me because I drove for Chip Ganassi, who had won the Indy 500 in the past, and to have him on the pit box, Johnny Morris from Bass Pro Shops. Ironic, I mean, it's crazy. I got the lead from the outside on a late race restart from Kevin Harvick, and then this moment here of coming off turn 4 and seeing the checker flag be waved, it's a special one. I mean, it's a memory that I hope that I don't ever forget. That whole 2010 was pretty special. You know, when we come here, it's typically hot, Dylan. It's really hot again this weekend, and the guy that complains the most about being hot is wearing a sweatshirt today.
He's prepared for a cold front to blow.
This is my airplane shirt.
You're what?
I bring this on the airplane.
Airplane
and
shirt.
it's the only CW thing I have left these times.
Okay, well, that's
but
good. Yeah.
I'm jealous of that win, by the way. I've always wanted to win something here. I would take winning a foot race at Indianapolis.
Foot race,
literally.
I was in the stands for that one. It was fun to watch. There's the Bass Pro Shop car that looks similar to the one Jamie was driving that day. Parker, we've talked so much about junior motorsports this year, the domination that has run rampant through the Xfinity Series. This weekend, if they win, it's the 100th win in the Xfinity Series for this team. What are they doing right that everybody else is trying to figure out?
It's figured out something. And we saw this a couple years ago where they were absolutely dominant, but I think it's also just consistently being dedicated to this series. That's how you get to these numbers, and for what Dale and Kelly have accomplished with that organization and how much it's grown over the years. What an amazing reward. And if they are to get that win here, that will be incredible, because this place, for the drivers, for the teams, it just means so much because of the history.
Well, it is warm here for sure, but weather looks good for the moment, and cars on track coming up for Xfinity. So many great moments through the years here at Indianapolis. Stock cars have been competing here since 1994, but plenty of other racing series have made their mark on Indianapolis. Formula One, of course, was here, Superbikes, MotoGP, and of course the Indianapolis 500. Been being contested for over 100 years, and Riley Herbst, the winner of this race last year in the Xfinity Series. Well, we mentioned we got the full team here this weekend. That includes our pit reporters, and we'll say good afternoon first to Carla Metz downstairs. Hi, Carla.
Hey, Dylan. Yeah, good afternoon. Of course, we know that Indianapolis Motor Speedway is iconic to the racing world, but everybody in the racing world also knows exactly what the Brickyard means, and we're walking across the iconic strip of bricks, and this is going to be the pathway that drivers take tomorrow for driver intros through the pagoda. This place is going to be lined on both sides with fans. The vibe is going to be electric, and of course, the bricks that you see here extend through the pagoda. That's the iconic start-finish line that the winner will get to kiss tomorrow after the race. But yes, Kim, you see the bricks, you see the pagoda, you know you're in Indy. Yeah, and Kyle Larson is no stranger to Indy, did the double earlier this year, back behind the wheel of the Hendrick Motorsports number 17 Xfinity Series car. And this was a last-minute ad, a special request from Mr. H himself. The crew joked with me, sorry we stole your analyst, because Kyle was supposed to be in the booth for the Xfinity Series race tomorrow. Instead, he's going to be logging laps here at IMS. And interestingly enough, Hendrick Motorsports has never made an Xfinity Series start on the big oval track. They've done the road course here, they've done over at IRP, but this is their first Xfinity start on the big oval. And in talking with the team, it was interesting. They said they kind of have to play the role of a chameleon depending on who's behind the wheel. Remember last week, Jake Finch made his debut in the Xfinity Series. They said they were very laid back, kind of joking around because they didn't want to overwhelm Jake in his debut. This week, a very different story. They said they're very serious. Anything less than a win here this weekend for this team is a disappointment. And you might recognize that livery. It is reminiscent of the paint colors he rode earlier in the year for both the Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600.
I wonder what his first lap back on the racetrack will be like after he's used to going 230 slow. Yeah, it's whoa, hang on, Connor.
Also, sorry to all the people that were hoping to be here with Kyle Larson. With him racing, now I'm here. This is what you get.
Yeah, we got the backups. Yeah,
I
part
apologize.
of it. Hey, we talked so much about Connor Zilic in this stretch of races that he's had, oddly enough, since Kyle Larson won in this car earlier this year. But the streak of these last 8 races and his average finish of 2.25, that average finish to me is impressive over the course of 2 or 3 weeks. But to do it 8 races, have you guys ever seen anything like that before?
Well, I think what's impressive is it's at so many different types of racetracks. When you look at it, as Pocono or a road course at Sonoma or the Chicago Street Race, Dover, which is a totally different animal than a lot of those. It's been a lot of fun to watch him, and I know there was a lot of pressure, Parker, on Connor heading into the season. The start of the year was a little rocky, but man, has he figured it out.
You pointed it out, it's just the diversity of the tracks. And I think it's really sort of goes back to his upbringing and all the preparation he's had for this moment. When you look at all the different types of race cars he drove in his teenage years, from one going out at go-karts to driving MX-5 Cup and Trans Am and doing late models, and just drove everything and did road course and oval style racing. And he now, I believe, over the next, it's already happening. I shouldn't say it's now happening, it's already happening, but it'll definitely become a consistent theme in the next 5 to 10 years. And if you're a young driver who wants to make it to the highest level of motorsports in America, you're going to have to do what he did. You're going to have to drive everything. You're going to have to drive ovals, road courses, all different types of stuff, and become that holistically prepared race car driver for all different types of tracks because of the diversity of the schedule.
He's also the template of any young driver out there. If you can afford or have the opportunities to go race all those different cars, and his preparation for all of these races. We talked to him about how are you preparing for these events. Same thing with Jesse Love right here. The tools that all of these drivers have to prepare for a track like Indy that you've never been to, whether it's watching onboard footage, the SMT, which is the driver footage of steering input, brakes, throttle, everything that goes with that. They can get so prepared before they ever get to these racetracks.
Yeah, and for years it was the Jeff Gordon model, which is find me a USAC midget star and I'll put them in a stock car and they'll go fast, a la Kyle Larson. I think it's definitely changing now. But one thing it is catching my eye is when we came here last year, there were so many of us who saw this package, knew we were going to the big track at Indy, which we had the Super Speedway motor with the normal 1.5 mile aero package, and we thought trim the cars out, make them as low drag as possible. Most of us at the start of practice last year couldn't even make a lap. So the whole field learned. Everyone has come with way more downforce this year, which is why the Stewart Haas cars were so fast last year. They really one-upped everyone with that decision. And as I see all these cars run around, a lot more cars making laps in a very hot and slick Indy.
Getting a look at the Burton boys here, who have been a topic of conversation a lot in the last couple of weeks because of their positioning in the playoff standings as we get down to the final handful of weeks in the regular season. Harrison gained 9 points last week at Dover on that bubble cut line, but these two have been attached at the hip to each other the last few weeks, and I don't anticipate that changing anytime soon.
No, and I thought the craziest stat that I saw last weekend when we talked about Harrison is that we're 20 races in, and he's been within 16 points in that cut line all year long. And you just think about the stress, that goes along with that, and every weekend worrying about, how are you doing around those other guys? And then it's just it'd be so awkward to be a family member that you're racing for that cutoff line as well.
I had a long conversation with Jeb earlier today, and I first asked, "Are you surprised to be up against your cousin like this?" He said, "No, we've run right next to each other all year." I also, we talked a little bit about just what they have to do and how they can beat that 25 and his cousin, and he said basically it's just going to come down to whoever doesn't make mistakes, who out-executes each other. And I think they've been so close on speed, and to give some precedence to that, our Race Insights guys give us those speed metrics. Right now on the average on the season, Jeb is the 16th fastest car, Harrison, the 15th fastest car.
Yeah, one thing I can tell you about Jeb, I saw a Twitter video of him this weekend.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't have to worry about being a baseball player. I can tell you, it was very Brad Keselowski, basketballish, watching him try to throw a baseball, so no fear there.
Did you hear those little cracks in the throttle there? This track, this Indianapolis Motor Speedway, this, Jamie, is super sensitive to heat and sun, and this place bakes and it becomes incredibly slick. If you watch the month of May, the Indy cars, they track the temperature of this track so closely. As you listen to 7 here, little lift into 3. It's wild how much grip this place loses as it gets hot, and I think that's what caught so many of us out last year, and all these teams have tried to adjust coming back this year, and you're still having to lift, even with this lower horsepower.
Yeah, it's such a fun lap to
55-30.
watch how smooth it is. No bumps. There's 4 tunnels at this track. There's not one bump over any of those tunnels.
Ride with Allgaier here, the active leader. Boy, there's been a few of those cars. Few of the JRM cars have had a couple moments at this end of the racetrack, both off of 1 and off of 2 as well.
Well, 1 gets really tricky here because turn 1 in itself has always been a famous corner for Indy cars because you have the tunnel effect of the grandstands on both sides. It just feels tighter, and it's so important to try and carry as much throttle as you can through there. I actually hit the wall off of 1 in qualifying last year, and did the exact same thing that Justin had, which is committed back the throttle, and then the front end said nope.
And one thing to watch as we go down into turn 1 right here, you're going to see on the exit of turn 1 there's a tire where somebody has hit the wall there. I was always focus on those as I turn into turn 1 right here, because that's where you're going to hit at, and you kind of judge that distance. So if you watch right here, you get to the gas, you're going to see a tire marker next to the wall right there.
Oh yeah.
You're like, I know I got to get just to the little bit to the left of that, because if you're not, you're going to hit that moment. So the corners are just so long, and it's so interesting too, because from an aerial shot, it's just this perfect 4 corners it looks like. And they just drive so different. This place is crazy.
Allgaier and Jesse Love running together here into turn number 3. Love, we saw at the start of this practice, had the left front splitter looked like was dragging on his car, but I think his tires came up to temperature that has sorted itself out.
And that will be interesting to see here as Justin gets closer to the 2 and if he's able to make a pass. With this package last year, dirty air was really bad, of course. Oh, as we see Daniel Dias going for a spin.
Hang on.
Oh,
Oh, we just hit the inside wall. Left front, right at the headlight. We hit it pretty good.
It's off of turn 2, and the yellow has waved for the first time here 10 minutes into this practice session.
Yeah, that didn't look bad, but that's damage is going to be worse than what you think.
That's a sensitive part of the race car. The front
You're
end
clear right there to start rolling.
that's where you set those splitter heights, and it's down to the thousandths of an inch. And when you have an impact like that in a race, you just keep going. But if you
in a race, the cruise sheet's like, it's not bad.
Yeah, man, it's just going to drag a little bit. We'll put some packer in it.
Here's a look at the replay. Die at the top of the screen.
Early.
She was loose super early into the corner there.
Oh, wow.
Great job.
Yeah.
Put it off the outside wall, and then
never stop trying.
yeah, you're just along for the ride. You need to release the brake right there to hopefully make the car turn, but you're praying inside the car that it's going to get slowed down. That was pretty good impact at the inside wall.
And for it to be that early, it tells me, you know, one of the things that we talk about all four corners being different. The, you know, turn 2 where you do get in trouble a lot is sort of as you turn into it, getting loose, that sort of thing, catch it wrong. And how early he was starting to go around tells me he probably got pretty loose on the entry, overheated the right rear, and away it went.
Under a brief pause for the Daniel Dye incident, Taylor Gray fastest in practice so far.
CW.
Back at Indianapolis, getting a look at the newly renovated Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum, which is absolutely beautiful. Has long had some really, really cool pieces of history and race cars and things inside of it. But the renovations that were completed, yeah, look at that.
That's the best looking car in there.
Does that make you feel old that your car is in a museum?
It does make me feel old. I can't tell you how thankful though I am that Chip Ganassi, he actually sent me a photo of this when they were putting it in just before the 500, and he was so excited to get to have it in there. And it's so cool that he's kept that car over all those years and has put it in there. I mean obviously for me it's an amazing piece of history.
A lot of new pieces and new race cars and things have been put into the museum since it was renovated and opened back to the public earlier this spring. So if you are in town this weekend, certainly encourage you to get over there and spend some time in there. You could spend several hours in there, I think, and probably still not see everything. Here's Jamie's car reincarnated in the one of Carson Quapple.
I'm glad we fought to this. I didn't know if we were doing a flashback.
Yeah, that's really cool that Bass Pro Shops and Junior Motorsports did this again. They did it at Daytona earlier this year, and then to bring it back, it's fun to see that car on the track again. And Carson was like, maybe not born. I don't really know. It's been a while back. Kim, what do you got?
I thought you were in that car, Jamie. I guess not. Carson, though, having a little experience having run this race last year. This team coming off what was a disappointing Dover. They had circled Dover on their calendar potentially as a race they felt they could win. unfortunately did not go their way, but they are not down and out. Carson's still very optimistic about both Indy and Iowa coming up. They're back out on the track after making some adjustments. So after the first run, Carson said he was very uncomfortable getting into the corners. He said the front end has grip and the rear doesn't into the corner, and then it switches on exit. The front doesn't have grip and the rear does. So battling balance issues here early at Indy.
Well, I hate that problem.
Yeah,
that sounds terrible.
Yeah,
that's like a crew chief nightmare to be loose end, tied off. Like the hardest thing in the world to fix. It did seem, though, like watching this race last year, Riley Herbst won, and every lap he was out of control loose. Every lap it looked like he was going to spin out. And it's such a hard balance here because you got to be free in order to turn and get that run you need to get underneath people, but it's got to be secure. Like when he talks about it being uncomfortable, it doesn't look like they're going that fast, but this track is extremely fast everywhere. Even in the slowest part, it's still got a lot of momentum. And the hardest part to me about this racetrack is that you're like, I know I'm going to hit the wall 10 seconds before you're like, oh, I've already drove in too deep, I'm going to hit the wall, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Some great credentials in the field this weekend for the Xfinity Series drivers. We already mentioned Kyle Larson, who's made the starts in the last 2 Indianapolis 500s. Another Indy 500 veteran, Catherine Legg, back in the Xfinity Series car this weekend for Jordan Anderson Racing, a 4-time 500 starter. And
like some peace of mind for her coming here, right? I think that's got to feel good. Parker said he's been talking to her in the garage, and she's pretty optimistic about everything going on.
And the thing I think that's probably pretty interesting for her is that they do installation laps in IndyCar, which is sort of you go around slowly and make sure all the systems are working. I think they go faster than she's going right now. On the install laps. So this is definitely the slowest she's ever gone around this racetrack. But I mean, there's got to be some things that you pick up from that you can apply here, and just knowing the racetrack, obviously knowing its intricacies and having the feeling that you would have in these cars. I think from people I've talked to, I haven't driven IndyCar around here, but I feel like there's things that work here and the way this track is designed that are pretty consistent no matter what you're driving.
Yeah, and I would think her, being 5 or 6 races into the year and then coming to a comfortable track, that's got to be good, and I look forward to seeing how she develops throughout the weekend.
Double duty for Kat this weekend, too. She'll be in the Cup Series race, the Brickyard 400 on Sunday, driving the Live Fast Motorsports 78 for BJ McLeod's team. And here's Kyle Larson, of course, doing double duty as well, defending winner of the Brickyard 400 and making his 5th start in the Xfinity Series here at Indianapolis.
He did not like his car when he first pulled out. He only ran a few laps on those out laps. I think he thinks they felt like installation laps because speed was quite a bit off for the 17 team. I would guess probably on the splitter. He just had to pick something to be off. They've come in, they've adjusted that,
and they went P1.
And he went right to the top of the board. Yeah. So, well, the 17 and Kyle Larson have figured it out.
No surprise. And, of course, has been in race cars on this racetrack already this year. As we look back at his 2nd Indianapolis 500 start earlier this year. Month of May didn't go quite as well for him this year as it did on debut a year ago.
The whole month was off, right?
It's just the whole thing. I was so disappointed in how this month went. Not, in his performance or anything like that. I think he continued to do an amazing job. I just wanted to see it all work out. I so desperately wanted to see it all come together just as a fan of racing, of motorsports. I love how, these two great American motorsports can have this moment together, one of the biggest motorsport days in the world, and it was like such a cool story both years, and to just have it happen to him both years, it was just so unfortunate. And I know he's basically said he's not going to do it anymore because it doesn't logistically work, which is evident after the 2 years of trying. I find that such a shame because it was so cool, and he was absolutely the guy. If anyone was going to be successful doing this double, he was the guy to do it.
Yeah, and the timing of that Indy 500 is getting in the right car in the right year, like it would be, even in NASCAR, it'd be the same way. In that first year, he was with the right car on the right year, and it all lined up, and obviously the weather just crushed him. And I think that emotionally, it just has taken a toll on him of the stress of that entire month leading up. I talked to him 3 weeks before the race this year, and he's like, it's going to rain. I've been looking at the forecast, and like that is just exhausting emotionally for a driver to be worried about that long out.
And you and I have talked about this a lot, because it's not just what everyone saw of what he was doing on track with the practice and the qualifyings and all the different things and jumping between cars. It's all the other stuff.
It's all the meetings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Meetings, the media commitments, all the little things.
And he did it all.
Yeah, and the logistics. He never said no to anything. And so I just think that's where it gets really tough. And I felt like he was the guy to do it, but even Kyle Larson is human, I guess, which is a shock to me.
Well, honestly, it's the first time we've seen Kyle look human. Yeah. Right, to see, I don't want to say, multiple mistakes throughout that month of finding the edge of that car, the limit of the car, and I think a lot of that is because the performance wasn't there. And so then he had to push just a little bit harder probably than what his comfort zone was.
And then spinning out the 600, Dylan, I think that was, that really was the topper on the whole thing of just, obviously, it was a really, really tough month.
He has got it figured out today, as we are about halfway through this practice session. Larson, that is, fastest. Here's Nick Sanchez with the Gainbridge colors on this weekend.
You guys are going to have to help me out with this one.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what is that car? Who?
Dan Towers, who is the man behind Gainbridge, and Indianapolis native, Indiana native, and so supportive of lots of different forms of motorsports. See him, of course, on the IndyCar side of things. He's on Colton Herta's car there, but we've seen him on some Spire Motorsports cars and trucks this year, so great to have him here in the Xfinity Series as well.
They've been associated with Nick for a couple of years, especially when he was in the truck series at Spire, so it's really cool to see them stepping up, and I know this place means a lot to them. They do a lot with the Indy 500 and obviously Andretti Global and all those associations they have, so it's cool to see him here. Oh, Taylor Gray's going around.
This
Gathers it up.
same spot, off turn 2.
Get out back. If you get tire down, don't tear any fenders off of it.
Kept it out of the wall at least.
And he's P2.
Yeah.
These things are not driving well. I said that we learned our lesson last year with the trimmed out cars.
Not yet.
I would say even this is just how you could imagine how bad they were when they were trimmed out.
Yeah, and Parker, you hit on it. This track, the difference in a cloud is mega here. It's a huge difference. Actually, we've got just a little bit of overcast here. We'll see. Oh man, I'm telling you, those overcorrections when those go wrong.
Oh, he did get the
a little bit of contact right there.
And that really upset it.
Yeah, that contact didn't. I think he'll be okay with that. I think that's going to be fixable. Maybe.
I think
it'll buff.
It'll buff.
Yeah, it'll buff.
The other part, that right front fender is pretty beat up. The other part of that is that when you heat up that right rear, that really takes a toll, and eventually it's gone. Kim, you've more on them?
Yeah, to your point, Parker, he said as soon as it loaded up, he got super free, was disappointed with himself on the radio. Remember, he's never made a start here in anything. Not only that, I talked with him this morning. Taylor had never even seen the place until this morning. He's raced at IRP, he's raced locally on the drag strip, but has never even attended a race here at IMS.
Well, that's two things you don't hear together. He's run at IRP and locally on the drag strip. Those.
Under caution for the second time here in Xfinity Series practice, Kyle Larson and Taylor Gray, the top two, but Gray's got some work cut out for him.
1800s when IMS was built. But there's been many different versions of the pagoda built, each time being built a little bit bigger, a little bit grander. But this place obviously means so much. It was named after Japanese pagodas, and kind of just the cultural significance that has of a sacred hollow ground in Japanese culture. The same can be said for Indianapolis and what that means to the racing community around the world. But in all actuality, it is a racing control tower used for timing and scoring, and of course offers a great view for officials to call this race, especially at the very tip top, guys.
Carlo, we need to get you up there to the very top.
Oh, wait a second.
It's a great view up there.
She mentioned all the things that the pagoda houses, and not us. We're inside of it.
We're on the second floor.
Yeah.
There with the
What
great
the
view.
heck? You're
great
from
view of
here.
this racetrack. I am.
What does... I'm trying... I get it's Japanese. What does that have to do with Indy? Like, why? Like, what's the tie?
I should know this.
I'm
but
so sorry to put you on the spot.
I don't. But Carlo was right. You know, the pagoda has gone through several different iterations of the control tower. It was originally a pagoda which burned down, and then they built just a regular master control tower, and then this place was built as an homage to the original pagoda. I do know that.
I think we have more. Carla has more.
Yes.
No, I was just going to clarify. It was named after the pagoda because it looked like a Japanese pagoda when they first built it.
Okay, there you go. Okay, all right.
But that is a good question. And
Yeah.
we should find Doug Bowles or something. He's always running around here. He could probably tell us.
The more you know.
Yes, exactly.
We've all learned today.
Education hour.
If you're joining us on this show, you have now become smarter about Indianapolis Motor Speedway and racing because of us. You are welcome.
William Sawalich is another rookie making his first Indianapolis start. They have turned things around in a positive way over the last couple of weeks, and that is much needed. Some relief in that 18 camp after a really, really tough start to the rookie campaign earlier this year.
Yeah, and similar to what we talked about with Connor Zilic, he's done it at two totally different types of racetracks. At Sonoma, had that great Friday win, and then followed that up with a top 5, and then Dover last week. I mean, that's such a unique racetrack, and I know he had some laps there and some ARCA cars or K&N cars over the years, but yeah, he's really been able to turn his season around.
Connor Zilic in the 88 is third fastest right now.
I like the
17 when he ran those couple laps. In 1 and 3, he's like a headlight lower from like the 1/3 mark all the way through the corner and exit. 2 and 4, he's only a headlight lower on exits, but he does gain on all those exits, and it just kind of helps him to build momentum.
I love the information. What I would say is I want to be lower. My car won't get down there. And when you turn off the wall here, the corners are incredibly long, and nothing inside of the car happens fast here. When you turn the wheel, it's like these little small inputs, because we've talked about how loose everybody is. You can't just go down and like yank on the wheel like you do at a short track. Everything is like, I would say precision is critical here in trying to hit your marks, and I always feel like your car kind of ends up where it wants to, right? Like you kind of feed it down into the corner, and you're like, I wish I was a half a car length lower, but I can't get there right now.
It's definitely a game of inches. You know, when you hear that description from the spotter and the team there, basically saying, hey, this is what we're seeing compared to the 17, that headlight lower could mean a 2 or 3 inch difference as to where you place your left front tire. But that's what you're dealing with around this place, because there's such fine margins of getting your left front to a place where there's grip, it rotates, it's right near that curb, or being just a tick high and going, oh, I can't turn, oh, I've gotten loose, all those little things. It's such a fine line around here, which makes it a tricky place to race, tough place to pass. And I'm curious to keep watching here. So we saw the 88 fall in the 48, and these couple cars, Sam Mayer, Justin Allgaier, and I couldn't tell who that was, sort of in a line, if drivers are getting sort of large runs down the straightaway, because last year,
Big runs.
There was big runs, and I don't know if I felt it in practice per se, but definitely when we got in the race, it became apparent that you could get large runs and make passes, which was the whole intention of running this lower horsepower package here at Indy, was to create a bit of, drafting. And although there's so much handling involved, it's not like a pack drafting. I do think it works down the straightaways.
Yeah, and when we watch, you know, what you're looking for is, if you are that half a car length lower and you're the car behind, you almost know that car is handling better. And, and it's going to probably generate a run. And if you're the car in front, you're trying to get lowers just so that you don't give them any errors. I watched the 41
a lap ago into turn 1, though, he was almost on the concrete on the inside, and that has a little bit of. Oh, he did it again.
Right there.
Yeah, a little. It has a different, like, not texture, but it's rougher than what the asphalt is. And I personally was not a fan of getting on that, but he's comfortable getting a little bit lower there.
It's definitely a rumble strip, and if you are a fan of Indy cars in the month of May here, you'll know that if they touch those with those cars,
he's around.
Yeah, that's a bad moment. Our cars, you can get away with it a little bit more. We can use more racetrack.
Good opportunity for the Haas factory team cars this weekend. Saw Sam Mayer. That team was structurally the 98 team last year that won this race with Riley Herbst, new driver, new crew chief, but a lot of the same fundamental people on that team. And Sheldon Creed, the 00 team, had Cole Custer in this car last year, and they ran well here as well. So we've said that a lot about this group this year, but they're still looking for their first win.
Yeah, and it's not translating. I thought the same thing, Dylan, heading into this weekend when I saw how well Cole and Riley ran here last year. I'm like, big opportunity, because this track's so unique. Like, what you do here is going to be different than because of the rules and everything. But as I look at those two cars, they're 13th and 14th on the board right now.
Oh, the dreaded R word. Rain is in the area.
Well, you said it.
You
said it.
You were such a hater.
Yeah.
The forecast, look, not beat around the bush here. The forecast for this weekend was not looking promising earlier in this week. It has gotten better.
Not with your attitude.
But the old window over Terre Haute is what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Here. The Terre Haute is getting rained on right now, though, if you look at southwest of Speedway here. So it's very, very hot here this weekend. It has been really warm here for the last several weeks. So we may be getting some of these just humidity pop-up showers that sometimes plague the area during the course of the summer, and we're under a brief hold now because of one of those.
This is your hometown. You couldn't do any better for us?
I got it better for us already because
Okay.
it was not looking good this weekend or earlier this week when I last checked. So
I loved having practice. As a fan, I don't like practice. I like the unknowns heading into the race.
And we got 50
Well,
minutes.
hey guys, if you're watching on practice, just know Jamie's not enjoying it.
Yeah.
From your
Well, no, I'm enjoying it. I'm just saying I like the unknowns heading into the race.
Man.
109 degrees in the car, so and that's actually cooler than I thought it was going to be. But that's the Savannah Bananas mobile that we're on board with, Kim, with Matt DiBenedetto.
Yeah, currently standing here with Taylor Gray, second fastest on the board before the car snapped loose on you. First time here at IMS. What are your takeaways in the time you did have on track?
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool place. Obviously, I feel like we have a really fast operation there in GRC, but it's fast Xfinity Mobile. Just causing more work for my guys. It sucks. I feel like a moron. Yeah, just went into two and hadn't really had that big free moment and compression throughout that side of the track all day, and loaded up into two and had this big snapping moment as soon as my car compressed. So, yeah, I don't know. Just got to go to work here and get our race car back in.
That is always frustrating, creating work for your guys, especially on a hot day like today. But I will tell you that creating work for them when you're 35th on the board is one thing. Taylor's second on the board. They're going to be okay with it, I think.
That always helps when you're fast.
Everything's better.
Fixes a lot.
Had a decent run last week at Dover. Try and bring them closer to that cut line, and these are the opportunities you've got if you need a win or if you just need to work yourself into the playoff position on points. A lot of different racetracks coming up, a lot of variety, and it's going to challenge these guys.
I just love the diversity of the modern-day NASCAR schedule, and this is just a great microcosm of that. I mean, Iowa is one that...
Did you say microcosm?
Yeah,
that is a big word.
I have a vast vocabulary. I don't always... I'm not sure if
who's drawing
your
on
intellect level would be able to understand it. That's definitely not me.
That's the microcosm.
That's the microcosm occurring here on our broadcast.
A rogue teleprompter.
Hey, well, Iowa last year, we had a bunch of right front tire issues. Tons of people blew right front tires. Goodyear's come with a new tire for that, so that's going to be interesting to see who rises up there. And then obviously you have road courses in Daytona. I mean,
Gateway as well.
Racing. Gateway's added.
New
First time for the Xfinity in a long
There's
time.
some nerve-wracking tracks on the schedule
100%.
for especially like the Burton,
the Bubble Boys
family. Like that, those are some brutal tracks to have to go through, knowing the pressure that's on them.
Do you guys need me? I'm thinking about heading over to the new museum.
I'm going there after this, I think, too.
Yeah. You want to go together?
I haven't
I don't know if I want to go together, but I'll meet you there.
Oh, darn. Oh, I thought we could be friends. Guess we're not.
Minutes winding down here in practice under caution for a bit of weather in the area, and Parker and Jamie are headed to the museum. Track grind team going to work on the back straightaway here at Indianapolis, trying to get the little bit of precipitation in the area.
That guy's a little rich in the back.
Yeah, he was a little
guy better lean her out a little bit.
Turned that thing on, and it was like about to take off into space there. It's not raining on the front stretch, really. That's kind of one of the unique things about this facility, is that it is so massive that there are plenty of times here where it is raining on one end of the racetrack and not a drop on the other end, and that's kind of what we've got going on right now.
I can't imagine that there's any water on the racetrack. It's hotter than the desert outside right now. There's no way that track is wet.
You also cannot see it on this asphalt for whatever reason. Like, especially if it's cloudy, I find it so tough to see whether it's actually wet or not.
Where do you guys think Carla is right now?
I don't know. Let's find
Carla,
out.
where are you?
Where am I? Yes, I moved from the pagoda here to another famously named part of the track here at IMS. This is Gasoline Alley, and of course every track that we visit doesn't get that cool of a name, but this is where you're going to see cars go through to their garage areas to be fixed throughout the race. And of course, you can see behind me just how close the fans can get to the cars as they pass through. Some of the drivers, you see some of the Cup drivers coming out for their practice a little bit later. But I actually just saw Catherine Legg's Cup car clear through inspection. She's going to be one of the drivers running both Xfinity and Cup this weekend. I was talking to her a little bit earlier. Of course, she's ran IMSA here before. She's ran the Indy 500 here several times, but she said, I've never ran a stock car here. I'm really excited to do both of these races. It's such an iconic track, and I'm just excited to be a part of it. Now, one thing to keep an eye on for Catherine Legg this weekend, she said she does not have a cool suit for the Xfinity car, and she does for the Cup car, at least when it works. So she said she's a little anxious about the heat this weekend, guys.
I'd be politicking if I was Catherine.
Yeah,
I'd be politicking like we need to use that same device in both cars.
One more fun fact about Gasoline Alley. I know you know this, Dylan, but if you could continue that on through the front stretch and out there, it basically is actual road that was out here that teams used to have their shops on Gasoline Alley.
There are
still
some
some IndyCar shops
It's,
there, right?
It's by far the best walk on race day for a driver as you're coming out like to driver intros, going through there with the fans lined up and just the visuals of this place. It's pretty special.
And I'm glad that they're pitting the Xfinity Series cars in the garage area and not out here on pit road, so they do drive through the garage.
Get that
and the
moment.
Fans can experience that, and the drivers can experience that too as the cars go on the racetrack. It is a busy week in Indianapolis this weekend, not only here at the big track, but down the road at Indianapolis Raceway Park. NASCAR trucks in action with their race, practice and qualifying as well later on tonight. ARC Menard Series there as well. Cup cars immediately follow us here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on True TV. Qualifying for the Xfinity Series starts tomorrow at 1 p.m. with the race scheduled at 4:30. Sprint cars in action in Indiana this week as well, so if you're in town for the races, there is a lot to do and plenty of racing to see to get your fill. They were in action last night at the dirt track. There it is.
Wild, just the crowd there, the atmosphere, just being there and knowing the history behind it is pretty cool.
When you're going down the front stretch and you have the stands on either side, it almost feels like you get tunnel vision for a second down the front stretch. It's a really, really cool event. You want to leave there victorious, and you want to be the one holding the trophy up.
There is no place like Indianapolis. Xfinity Series practice trying to get some cars back on the racetrack here in these final minutes as track cleanup efforts or track drying efforts continue here. Just had a brief shower pass through the area at somewhere on the racetrack. We're not exactly
not
sure,
where we are.
Not exactly sure where it is, but obviously there is some moisture on the racetrack that the IMS safety team is working to get dried up over there on the backside of the racetrack.
Looks like they're heading back. It's a good sign for us.
About Indianapolis Motor
Parker,
Speedway?
based on your last one, I would love to have another one.
I got another one for you.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So, do you know that the first ever pace car was in the 1911 Indianapolis 500? So Stoddard Dayton and Carl Fisher, who actually built this place and was one of the first organizers of the Indy 500, drove it to pace the field so they could stay sort of bunched up and then get going.
You know what I feel like?
Donald Davidson Jr. over here.
I feel like Larry McReynolds is sitting next to me right now.
You didn't get that in your racing insights. I'll tell you that. Pack it this week.
Kim, save us, please.
I'll save you. All right. You see the 17 car there on jack stands. They have wrapped up this practice. Kyle Larson nowhere to be found. That's because he is on the way to the Cup Series garage to get ready for their practice, which comes right after things wrap up here on the Xfinity Series side. I talked with crew chief Adam Wall, kind of said, how does it feel? How are you guys? Top of the board. Expected him to give me maybe a glowing review, and he kind of shrugged and say, we're still working on it. Pace is there. Still looking for comfortability in the car for Kyle Larson.
I feel like Adam is pretty modest, kind of like Kyle. They're a pretty good pair together.
I think that the challenge though for Adam is that the expectation, and Kim hit on this earlier, it's win or you fail, right? Like that's just how they feel when Larson is in this car, or really when any of the Cup guys are in the car this weekend, but for sure with Kyle and his success at this racetrack, it's a lot of pressure on him.
I was talking to him earlier today, and we got talking about strategy, and I said, with Kyle Larson in the car, are you the type of, if there's a decision between tires or not taking tires, that sort of thing, being on offense or defense, what do you choose? Are you one of those that wants to lose it on offense? He said 100% with Kyle Larson in the car.
Totally.
I've given away some races trying to play defense and realized that's a mistake. If I've got Kyle Larson, go on the offense, take the tires, take whatever that strategy is, and let him go to work.
Welcome sight here as cars at the racetrack. We've added a little bit of time. The session's going to end, scheduled for ending at 12:59, so that is represented on our clock there at the bottom of the screen there. So just about 4 minutes, time to get a lap or two in maybe here if you get out and get up to speed right away. We saw the Savannah Bananas car on board driving through the garage earlier, and here is the Banana Wagon out on the racetrack. You can watch the Bananas on the CW this Sunday, 3 p.m. So
the Banana Wagon, is that what we're calling that?
I made it up.
Yeah, okay,
that's what we're calling it or not. I like the race car though. Yellow race car looks good, and some good cross promotion here as Matt DiBenedetto wheels it through 3 and 4.
A lot of fun social media videos this week.
Yes.
From this team and Matt, this whole Savannah Bananas sponsorship. So it's super cool. Car looks great. Hopefully their race doesn't go
bananas.
Yeah,
Matt,
I sensed it.
Yeah,
set each other up nicely there. Those guys are racing on the warm-up lane there. Matt has the Savannah Bananas uniform to match the baseball uniforms that he'll wear tomorrow. So he doesn't have that on right now. Save that for the race, but he is going all out to support the cause here.
They're hoping to knock it out of the park.
Oh boy!
Are you done?
I'm done. I'm done.
The dad jokes are done, Parker.
Back to Kim.
Wow, Parker. God. I love the dad puns, though. You didn't see him in the suit because he didn't want to sweat through it. We're talking about the Indy Heat. He said he only has one of those special suits. He will be in it for qualifying and the race tomorrow, but he didn't want to get it dirty today with as hot as it is here at Indy. You guys mentioned that game, though, on Sunday. He's throwing out the first pitch. I'm interested to see how Matt does. We consider him one of the more athletic of the drivers in the field. We've seen Nick Sanchez and Jeb Burton throw out pitches this year, so we'll see what he's got on the mound come Sunday.
I would not want to run into Matt DiBenedetto in a dark alley somewhere if he was upset with me about something. He's the nicest guy ever, but
I'd want him on my side in a bar fight.
Yes,
that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Justin Allgaier went to top of the board. Now has been moved down to third. I think some of these cars on new tires. Some may be doing a mock run. I think we heard that Connor Zilch was going to be going out in a mock run. Yeah. So that's taped up, new tires. 54-0.
JRM 1, 2, 3.
And Connor's cleared by a half second on those other two. If those are all mock runs, he laid down a heck of a lap there.
Eric Almirola back in the JGR 19 for the second straight week, currently 9th.
I'm going to tell you, the race that he had with Cole and Riley last year,
Awesome.
if we get to have anything even close to that, it is going to be a blessing, because that was one of the most fun races I've ever watched at this racetrack to see. Eric spun out like with 25 laps to go, and you think he's out of it. And the way that it all cycled through and the way those guys were passing, I think this package lends itself to that. This track also, where tires are important, but they're not like super important, makes it a perfect mix when you get those cautions with 3 or 4 laps to go in a stage, or even 10 laps to go in a stage. It's really fun to watch it, how it shakes everything up.
How Riley held on to that car.
Oh!
Eric, coming out of 4. I don't know. That's sort of one of those moments you're just like, I don't know what happened there, but I'm glad it stuck.
Yeah. Better to be lucky than good sometimes.
Yeah.
See Austin Hill in the 21 car as the final seconds get down here in practice. And again, a reminder, qualifying tomorrow. So this is it for on-track activity for the Xfinity cars today.
I think knowing, how important track position will be, it's probably a good choice by those JRM cars to use that second set of tires you get to go out and do a mock run just to see where the balance is going to be. We know, honestly, tomorrow is just as hot, even if you get a little cloud cover to help a little bit, but get a good baseline for what they need for tomorrow.
And it's not an easy qualifying lap, even with this lower horsepower Super Speedway motor design. None of us were flat out last year. It's still a difficult lap, so you got to get it right.
Red and black flags displayed. Practice is done. Sam Mayer jumped up to 3rd there at the very end with his final lap, but Connor Zillage cleared the field by almost a half second. So the driver that has won the last 2 races in the Xfinity Series off to another good start here on his first time at Indianapolis.